Hello and welcome back. In today's video, we're going to see which of these two crimp tools is the best for crimping JST connectors. These little guys that are all over your 3D printer. IWS/iCrimp did send these over, so we'll go ahead and take a look at these and see if these are the best crimp tool that you can buy for JST connectors. So let's get right into it. Okay, so this is the original crimp tool that I was using. This is the IWS-2820M. And the one that iCrimp sent over is the IWS-3220M. This one is ratcheting, has a very nice looking die on it. This is the one that I originally bought not too long ago. This is a fully hand tool, spring loaded. Also, the dies are pretty good, and I've had great luck crimping with this. So what I'd like to do for this experiment is I have these two pieces of scrap wire. I'm going to prep these, and then we're going to put crimps on either side, and then we'll put on the connectors and see which one was quicker. So the first wire that we'll try out is the silicone wire that I have here. This is just some basic 20 gauge wire that I have that is silicone. I'll go ahead and start off with stripping. Okay, here are both sides stripped. So to make this a fair fight, I'll go ahead and make sure I have 2 crimps prepared for each side, and we'll see how much time it takes. Now this is the first time I've used this tool, so I guess I will start with this one. Time starts now. Okay, that is time. Now I'll go ahead and use this crimp tool. Time starts now. Okay, that's time for the second one. I am going to go ahead and mark the side with the hand tool that wasn't ratcheting with the Sharpie. This is PVC insulated wire. I'll go ahead and strip it like the last set of wire, and then we'll go ahead and see which crimp tool is quicker. So to stay consistent, I'll go ahead and start with this crimp tool again. Ready, set, go. Okay, there are those 2 crimps. Okay, now I'll do the same with the hand tool without the ratchet. And start. Okay, and there are those 2. Once again, I will mark this side from the non-ratcheting side with the silver Sharpie. Now that I have both all set, we'll go ahead and pull out the microscope. Okay, I've gone ahead and taken the PVC wire that was using the hand tool without the ratcheting mechanism. As you can see here, the crimp, it has got a curve to it. The actual wire crimp itself looks pretty good, pretty well formed. That seems pretty uniform on the top and bottom side of that crimp. Here is the sample size of 2. This is the black wire from that PVC wire set. As you can see, all of the conductors are once again encompassed by the crimp. It's pretty uniform on the wire side, but on the actual insulation side, it is not very even. If we go to that side profile again, we can see there is also that curve to it. Once again, this is the hand tool without the ratcheting mechanism. If we flip to the other side of that wire where we use the ratcheting tool, we can see that the side profile, it is pretty flat across. Go to the conductor, the crimp looks really good. Adding the sample size of 2, here is the red wire. Once again, a very uniform crimp. All of the conductor is encompassed by the crimp. And looking at the side profile, it is pretty flat all the way across. Doesn't have a large curve like the other non-ratcheting tool. Heading over to the silicone wire, installation. Here is the manual hand tool without the ratcheting mechanism. Once again, it does have a curve to it. Looking at the crimp underneath the microscope, it does look to be pretty uniform again, and it is encompassing all of the conductors. Adding sample size of 2, the side profile is curved once again. Taking a look at the crimp under the scope, it does look really good again. Okay, here is the other side of that wire, the silicone installation. This is using the ratcheting tool. We can see that it is flat all the way along the bottom of that crimp. Looking at the conductor under the microscope, we can see that it is very uniform and it looks really good. Now, once again, looking at sample size of 2, the side profile looks pretty flat. Looking at the conductor underneath the scope again, the crimp does look pretty even and uniform. So we'll go on to the next test where we will try to insert the wires into the housing. Okay, now that we've inspected these crimps under the microscope, I'm going to go ahead and try to install each of them into the housing just to see how easy they are. So we'll go ahead and start with the side with the silver Sharpie, which is the non-ratcheting. I'm going to move over to the silicone. Okay, those installed pretty effortlessly. We'll go ahead and go over to the ratcheting crimp tool, the PVC. Okay, there are all the crimps installed. I did find that they were all pretty easy to install. I didn't really see a difference between the two crimp tools. Okay, now that I've tried both of these crimp tools, you may be asking which crimp tool I recommend. I highly recommend the ratcheting IWS-3220M for these crimps over the IWS-2820M. The main reason is the crimps looked a lot more consistent with this tool. The die looks really nice on this crimp tool. There's no paint that flakes off. Another benefit of this is it does both crimps at the same time, so there's no doing one hoping that that's aligned. This crimp tool allows the crimp to sit in there and stay flat along that, so the bottom of the crimp is actually planar. That was a little bit harder to obtain with this one. This one was a great one to start off with, but now that I know this one exists, this is my go-to. Okay, there was one thing I decided to test off camera, and it was just seeing if I didn't want to finish the crimp all the way, how easy it is to undo the crimp and undo the ratcheting mechanism. So this is how you undo the ratcheting mechanism. It is very difficult to get into with my finger, just with the size of my fingers. I did have to use, to undo it, a spudger, and that will undo it. And that keeps the pressure from going all the way down so that you can have your completed crimp not go all the way and not crush all the way if you don't need it to, depending on the wire installation that you're using. So you may be asking, is there a reason that you wouldn't want to buy both of these crimp tools? And I did find one application where I'd want to have both of these crimp tools on hand. As I stated, this one does allow the crimp to stay planar, and it doesn't cause it to have that bend in like we saw underneath the microscope. So something you could do is if you have a larger wire installation, you could use this to get the crimp started. And then once you get 1 or 2 ratchets in, verify that you have your wire installation, you can undo the mechanism depending on where you are in the state of how far crimped you are. You would undo the ratcheting mechanism, you could pull your crimp out, and then you could finish it off with the crimp. So the wire conductor is probably still going to need the smaller size. So here are all the crimp tools that I have from iCrimp. This one is my favorite for the JST type connectors. But if you're looking to get any of these, I highly recommend iCrimp. So go ahead, and there is a 5% off coupon down below in the description. There's also a couple affiliate links, so feel free to click them. So thanks for watching, and tune in for the next episode. Bye.